Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of this series that's called Who's Better. And I know the concept is a little bit complicated. You're going to have to follow me here. We're just talking about who's better. That's it. And today we're doing two of the top Montreal Canadiens defensemen. It's Shea and it's Jeff Petry. Now, I put this on my community tab, and the results might surprise you or might not if you follow the Habs every single day. So, with 886 votes, 66% of the people said Jeff Petry, which kind of surprised me and kind of didn't at the same time. And I was reading a lot of the replies to the comments, and the reason I say it did and didn't surprise me, it surprised me because of how beloved Shea is in Montreal. Everything he does, the leadership on and off the ice, the no taking any type of shortcuts, the all business attitude. But it also didn't surprise me because Jeff Petry's having an absolutely Norris level type season. He's probably been the best defenseman on the team this season, and last year he was an absolute awesome player as well for the Montreal Canadiens. And the replies to that community post were like, ooh, this is a tough one. And a lot of people were saying right now it's Petry, but career overall it's Shea. And I agree with that big time, okay? Because if you look at the career numbers, and I know hockey is not all about the stats and the numbers, especially for defensemen, but just bear with me here. Shea in 1,003 games has 220 goals, 357 assists for 577 career points, whereas Jeff Petry in 693 games has 75 goals, 192 assists for 267 points. And Shea, he's been the captain of two different teams. Dude, since he broke into the league, he's been one of the premier defensemen in the National Hockey League. Olympic gold medals. He's just a mainstay, superstar since basically he broke into the league. Whereas Jeff Petry had a bit rougher go of his start, okay? He was playing with the Edmonton Oilers back when they were absolutely awful. And I don't just mean now where it's like, oh yeah, they're kind of bad. I mean when they were awful, like when they were drafting first overall pick every year, like the early Hall, Eberle, Sam Gagner, Nugent Hopkins era. Okay, I'm talking about then. And look, at that point, Jeff Petry, he wasn't terrible, but he also wasn't what he is now by any stretch of the imagination. Only when he got to Montreal did he really start to become the incredible defenseman that he is now. And he 100% deserves the huge contract that Bergevin just signed him to recently. But if you take a look at the individual statistics this season for both these guys, Shea in 13 games has 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points, and in penalty minutes, he's got 10, 0 in plus minus. Now, that's very good for okay? He's having a solid start to the season, but on the power play, he's that big howitzer, okay? I know everybody's seeing it coming, but he should be pitting in goals with that huge slap shot. But you know who's putting up points and goals? Mr. Jeff Petry. In the same amount of games, 13, he's got 6 goals, 8 assists for 14 points, over a point a game, 2 penalty minutes, and he's a plus 13. So he's not getting rinsed in his own zone, okay? Not like some of these offensive defensemen like Quinn Hughes, for example, who like, oh, you look at the points, ooh, he's good, and then the plus minus is just atrocious. And that's not to single out Quinn Hughes with his minus 13 this year. He's a fantastic player, but that's just kind of the way it goes for these offensive defensemen like Hughes, like Brent Burns, Erik Karlsson, for example. Like sometimes you look at the minus category, does not look good. And yeah, I know plus minus as a stat is completely overrated and people put way too much stock into it. But for defensemen, where your main job should be making sure you don't allow goals, it's more telling than it would otherwise be for a forward. And if you take a look at the leading scoring defenseman in the NHL, because let's be honest, the Norris, in a large part, is usually somewhat a scoring race. Of course, give or take, it's not always whoever scores the most points. But if you want to win the Norris Trophy, you have to score a ton of points. And right now, Quinn Hughes is first spot with 17 points. Jeff Petry second with 14. But if you look, Quinn Hughes has played 16 games while Petry's only played 13. So, dude, the Norris is in reach for this Petry guy this year, and I don't know if I can say the same for Shea, which tells you that right now, to me too, I would say Jeff Petry is better. But again, I know you have to look at other things like the leadership, the calming presence on the back end, physicality, okay? And yes, Shea does get a ton of points in those departments, but right now, the Montreal Canadiens' #1 defenseman, dude, I think it's Jeff Petry. And Shea Weber stands. Don't kill me here, okay? I'm telling you, ever since I was a young kid at the 2010 Olympics and I saw Shea Weber shoot a puck through the net, I've loved the guy, okay? He's been one of my favorite defensemen in the whole league. And, dude, I'm not trying to slander him in any way. I still love him. I think he's a great defenseman, a great player, period. But Shea Weber right now, I think, is just a cut below Jeff Petry based on their play this season. And the funny thing is, this just shows you that as a defenseman, you don't need to be drafted first overall, fourth overall to be a superstar. These guys were drafted pretty close within each other. Jeff Petry in 2006, drafted in the second round, 45th overall by Edmonton. And Shea Weber, also second round, 49th overall in 2003. So there are some diamonds in the rough to be found in the later rounds for defensemen on teams. And I can vouch for this personally with Rasmus Andersson, okay? He's not a first-round pick, but he's probably the best defenseman on the Calgary Flames this year. And he's a pretty damn good player. And the exciting thing for Habs fans is they've got another stud coming up on defense. What's his name again? Oh yeah, Alexander Romanov. He is incredible. Dude, every time I see this kid play, it's like, wow. And he gets better every single game. And you guys know I'm a Flames fan. Juuso Välimäki has been disappointing to start the season for me so far, and he's making a ton of mistakes. And the guys on the radio and the broadcasters on TV are saying, you know what, he's a young guy. He's making mistakes. He's learning the game. And I understand that. That's fine. But every time I see Romanov, it feels like he almost never makes mistakes. Of course he does, because he's human after all. But it seems like he's so sound defensively. And at that young age, dude, Romanov, to me, he's going to be the #1 defenseman in Montreal in very short order here. And it's awesome because you have Romanov, great up-and-coming D-man, who can learn from guys like Weber and Petry who've been there, done that, and can have some awesome lessons to pass on to this kid. And he's not afraid to be physical, too, eh? I mean, I love this Romanov when he throws his weight around, but look, this isn't a Romanov video. I'm probably going to make one of those relatively soon because I love the guy on that back end. But right now, I'm going Jeff Petry over Shea Weber. But the fact that they're both on the same team is just chef's kiss for the Montreal Canadiens. And a nice little piece came out a few days ago about Petry and how he learned of playing with Andrei Markov, one of the great Habs defensemen. Okay, I wouldn't put him in the same boat as like Jean Béliveau, but he was still a great Habs defenseman for many years, and Petry learned a lot from him. So it's great to know that even in retirement or in Russia, wherever the hell Markov is, he's still having an effect on current Montreal Canadiens players. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me on this one. This was a fun one. I like it. Give me more ideas down below for who's better. What should I do for videos? Fun ones, okay? Like Crosby, McDavid, that type of thing. I want to hear it. Leafs, Bruins, you know. You know how it is. So leave me some comments down below. Who do you think is better as well? Obviously, Petry or Weber. And yeah, if you answer those two questions, I'll know you made it this far. So thanks for tuning in, staying this long. I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe for daily hockey content, and I'll see you in the next one.